هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي عمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه ونور عرشه صاحب طه وياسين أحمد مجتبى أبو القاسم محمد. ولعنة الله أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي، السلام عليك يا عبا عبد الله. روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا غريب يا مظلوم يا شهيد بعرض كربلاء. السلام على من نحره منهور وصدره مقصور وجسده بكي 3 أيام بلا غسل بلا كفن بلا كافور. ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل العضاء الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال الله تعالى في القرآن الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. صلوات. First of all, before I start the majlis, I would like to convey an amanat that I have with me, because as I was coming towards London, Ontario this year, I traveled for part of the journey with Mullah Muhammad Kasmali, who was with you last year, and he has remembered you specially on this night and asked me to convey his salams to all mu'mineen in London, Ontario. It is indeed a great honor for an Adna Zakir, an ordinary Zakir like myself, to be invited by your Jamaat for this Muharram of 1426 Al-Hijrah. And the honor is such that one is reminded of a situation that history of Islam narrates. It is the bazaar of the Misr, Egypt, the present day Egypt, in which Hazrat Yusuf whose husn, whose looks, whose character, whose actual way of conduct was such that when he was brought enslaved from the well where he was thrown and brought into the bazaar of Misr in Egypt, everybody wanted to go and partake in the purchase of Hazrat Yusuf, because he was being sold as a slave at that time. And the amirs who took gold, full of gold, the bags and their coins and the bricks of gold, to weigh against Yusuf to see if they could buy Hazrat Yusuf. And yet at the end of the queue there was an old lady with a couple of coins in her hand. And the amirs asked this old lady, "What are you doing this? What are you doing this? Why are you at the end of this queue?" And she says, "I want to purchase Yusuf." And the lady replies that, "I want to purchase Yusuf." So the Amir said, "Can you really afford to purchase Yusuf? Will you ever get to purchase Yusuf with these 2 coins in your hand?" At that stage, the reply of the ladies, the whole story is narrated for this reply. The reply of that old lady is to say that, "I know that I cannot purchase Yusuf, but I want to be counted amongst those who were there to purchase Yusuf." And for us, for an ordinary Zakir like me, and for you, Azadarane Hussain, who have assembled this outside despite the cold, it is the honor of being counted as Azadarane Hussain, because the azma, the importance of this zikr is so great that if we can only be counted. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, accept us as Azadarane Hussain in this Muharram. When I was here in the year 2001, I noticed a very vibrant and living community. Very vibrant and living community in London, Ontario here. And there were signs of great growth and signs of improvement in all the fronts. And indeed, the fact that you have now got an Imam Bargah, which is a much bigger one than the one you used to have then. And one hears of so many activities that are being conducted in London, Ontario, including your tafsir classes with Sheikh Huda and Sheikh Salim Bhimji, is indeed a step forward from where we have been in the past, and shows that the future for London, Ontario is great, because smaller jamaats like London, Ontario can have a much greater impact quicker if only everybody starts partaking on regular basis. Today, I would like to start first with the words of a shair, a poet, who says on this azma of Hussein's sacrifice. He says, "14 sadiyan बीत गई, शब्बीर का चर्चा बाकी है। 14 सदियां बीत गई, शब्बीर का चर्चा बाकी है। कुरान अब तक बोल रहा है, खाने काबा बाकी है। कुरान अब तक बोल रहा है, खाने काबा बाकी है। करबो बला का पाके सहारा, इस्लाम अब तक बाकी है। करबो बला का पाके सहारा, इस्लाम अब तक बाकी है। सारे झंडे टूट गए, अब्बास का परचम बाकी है." What this shair is saying, that 1400 years have passed. It is past. But till today, the voice of Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein can be heard. And then he goes on to say that look at Quran. Quran is speaking till today. Look at Khane Kaaba. It stands erect as people do tawaf of Khane Kaaba. This is the azma of this verse. And he says, taking the strength of Karbala, Islam is today alive and well. And all the flags have now fluttered away. But till today, the flag of Hazrat Abbas, the alam of Hazrat Abbas is there. This is the starting point with which our assembly today should reflect on this first night, inshallah, of the month of Muharram, 1426 Al-Hijrah. 1365 years have passed since the event of Ashura. And today, if we look through our inner eyes, just as our Muhtaram Zakireen were reciting Marsia, they were reflecting on these words. That when you look through our inner eyes, we'll find that Janab Fatimatul Zahra, our beloved Bibi, is no more in Baqi, in Medina. She has left Baqi. And if we look through our inner eyes, tonight, she has left Baqi, and in her hand is Janab Bibi Sakina, the 4-year-old. And she's saying, Ya Jadda, oh my grandmother, let me come with you. Let us go to this Azza Khana ya Hussein, the places where they are gathered together today to remember my father and the martyrdom of father. Let us go together and give du'as to this Azadaran ya Hussein. So your feat of coming through in this cold weather, your feat of coming through after a hard days is no mean feat, because people who are here to receive your condolences are no other than the Masumeen themselves. It is that honor that we are looking. And if we look with our inner eyes, we'll find Waliul Asr, Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, salawatullahi alayhi. Our living Imam with his amama and his abba removed, crying with tears flowing down his cheeks. And this is not an imaginary thing from a Zakir. If you listen to him in Ziyarat al-Nahya, he says, Ya Jadda, Baka Sabhan Badala Dummihi Damma. He says, Oh my grandfather Hussein, I cry for you instead of the tears with drops of blood from my eyes. That's our 12th Imam saying to Imam how he cries. With that in mind, we should be focused on the grief that our Imam feels and be prepared to extend our condolences on nights like this in Muharram. The grief felt by our Imam is not only the grief of this Muharram, but when he reflects on the state of Ummah today, and we find how Muslim life of Muslim has become cheap, how the blood of Muslims is no more considered weighty, and there are a number of scenarios that one can look at throughout the various parts of the globe of the world. I want to reflect briefly today, just touch upon and inshallah build upon in the future. The situation, for example, in Iraq, I met while coming, and with me at the airport in Toronto waiting for the ground transportation and bus transportation to come towards London, Ontario, was an Arab from Iraq, an old gentleman, and how he was reflecting, talking, saying that even in Saddam's time, we in Iraq suffered. Until today, we are suffering. How people get killed in crossfire between this extreme groupings and the so-called occupiers. And on the other side, before, there was the tyrant like Saddam, always there, whereby they were being massacred, they were being oppressed. And Ash'ar again, I'll take because Ash'ar is one way in which person can express very quickly, in few words, what one wants to say. And Ash'ar in Urdu says, and I'll translate it in English as well, says, Amn ka paygam sunane wale hai, Amn ka paygam sunane wale hai, Galiyo galiyo aag lagane wale hai, Galiyo galiyo aag lagane wale hai, जुल्म के काले बादल से डरना कैसे ये मौसम तो आने जाने वाले हैं जान बचाने वाले तो है सब लेकिन, जान बचाने वाले है तो सब लेकिन, अब कितने ईमान बचाने वाले हैं, अब कितने ईमान बचाने वाले हैं। हमको ऐसे वलियों की निस्बत है लेकिन, हमको ऐसे वलियों की है निस्बत लेकिन, दश्त को गुलजार बनाने वाले हैं. What this person is saying is few couplets in brief, that in the name of peace, how much fire is being burnt in the streets. In the name of peace and humanity, how much evil and destruction is going on in this world. We need to reflect. And then he said, how many of there are left who try and save their iman? But we have connected with those walis, those aimas, that they are such that they can save us from fire. They made fire into gulzar, into cold and cool place. May Allah remove the oppression from the tyranny that our Muslims suffer throughout the world till the appearance of our Wali al-Asr, Hujjat ibn Hassan, salawatullahi alayhi. Tonight, I would not do justice if I did not touch upon the remembrance on this first night of Muharram on our marhumeens who are no longer with us, our parents who have passed away, those parents that have passed away, those dear ones that are no longer with us in the family. These arwahs of mu'mineen yearn, they cry out for the zikr of Ahlul Bayt. And I will ask you all to join me today, first by remembering the marhumeens with Surah Al-Fatiha. Mubarak. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawm ad-din. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. Wahdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata allazina an'amta alayhim. Ghayr al-maghzubi alayhim walaw dhalin. Allahumma salli ala. Whenever we gather in such gatherings, we have to reflect on the station and the status of gatherings like this, because that is what gives us strength. And today I would like to narrate a brief hadith before starting the topic that I have selected for Muharram. The hadith of our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, salawatullahi alayhi. After his salams to Fudail, he says, O Fudail, do you in your town and in your places gather together to remember my grandfather, Shaheed Karbala, Mawla Hussain? Do you remember the martyrdom of Imam Hussain? And Al-Fudail turned to Mawla and said, with tears flowing down his cheek, O Yabna Rasulillah, Na'am Yabna Rasulillah, certainly we do. And then Mawla turned to Fudail and said, may Allah send His blessings on you who hold these majalises. Now this is the dua, not for Fudail only at that time, but for all of us who gather in remote corners of the world to remember our Mawla, to remember Hussain. Such a great azma that our Imam sends special blessings and du'as for us. And if we remember the station of such blessings, we will have that strength. We'll forget our tiredness from work. We will come here with eagerness because we know that this is the place of blessings. Indeed, such blessings are glowing beacons, if only looked upon from the heavens. The angels, when they look down upon these gatherings, they find it like shining stars. And it is not only mere words. If you just heard the Hadith Kisa, in there we find clear narration. وَنَزَلَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الرَّحْمَةُ وَحَفَّتْ بِهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَاسْتَغْفَرَتْ لَهُمْ إِلَىٰ أَنْ يَتَفَرَّقُوا. Allah showers His blessings on them, and the angel covers them in their protection and do istighfar for them till they separate, till they get home. So for every moment that you are seated here, Allah is showering that blessing, and angels are protecting you. How can we have that inhibitions? How can we think, oh, I will miss today the majlis of Hussein, when it has got so much blessings? And indeed, when look at that glowing stars, I am reminded, because there are younger people in the majalises, I like to give contemporary examples. And in one community, there was one person who was upset with the community. Something happened which made him say, I will not be attending the majalises and the namaz that is held in the center. And the resident alim, the alim at that time, decided after some time to visit him at home. When he visited him at home, he went, knocked the door, and the man was seated near a fireplace, and he joined him and sat near the fireplace with him. As he sat with him, that person, that alim, saw the fireplace which was glowing, and he took the fire tongue with him and just took one of the burning wood, and kept it on the side of the fireplace rather than with the rest of the fireplace which was glowing. And he sat there without saying any word. After some time, when he was ready to leave the home, he took that wood that he had kept on the side, which had by now turned very dull with ash on the wood, and he took it and put it back where all the other pieces of wood were there, in the glowing fire. And soon it joined in with the glowing fire, and it was glowing. This man, looking at this whole action, started crying and turned to the alim and said, "Oh, alim, you have taught me, you've given me a glowing sermon without having said a word. What you taught me today was to say that I, when I am with my fellow mu'min brothers, will glow, but even though I may pray at home, I may have the heat in me, I will not glow if I am separated from the main fire." And that lesson is very important for us in keeping the centers like the Ahlul Bayt Center here alive by joining in on regular basis. Salawat. The topic for this Muharram that I chose has in fact been chosen by itself, because the agenda today in the world, at international level, at national level, at community level, is the word Islam and how it is interpreted in the world. It is such an important topic, and the topic that I've chosen is Islam, the deen, the religion of peace and tranquility for mankind. It is a topic that needs no introduction. Indeed, our Mawla Hussein, Shaheed Karbala, when he left Medina, and the Marsiya that were recited today were about the leaving of Medina, he said a clear statement. He said a statement that kharajtu li islahi ummati jaddi. I am leaving Medina only for one purpose, and that is to correct and save the ummah of the Holy Prophet, the ummah of my grandfather. And the word Islah here is very clear in Arabic. It means to correct, to rectify something that had been spoiled. So at certain stage, it was very clear that in our Imam's word that the Ummah had forgotten and corrupted the message of the Holy Prophet. They had left the true Islam, and there was a danger in Islam being damaged. This is the reason why the Imam left. And when you look at it, that message that the Holy Prophet gave in the streets of Makkah and Ta'if, as he was going, saying, "Qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu." Say la ilaha illallah and you will be saved. That message, as he was drenched in blood, as he was stoned, trying to preach that message of Islam, was slowly being drowned by the kufr that Yazid and Muawiyah had introduced. So that message is the message that I wish to take upon. And indeed, in the Holy Quran, the La Raib book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, La Raib, which means the one that has got no doubt in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al Imran, ayah 18, He says, Inna ad-deena inda Allah al-Islam. Surely the true religion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. The only religion acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. And indeed, this religion of Islam is the true beacon of light. That mankind, immersed in materialism, immersed in corruption, if it looks to it, will find that it is the complete prescription and source of guidance, source of how to lead life. And on one side, we find that Islam is tarnished. And on one side, we find Islam as a complete and most beautiful prescription prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are 1.5 billion people in the world who follow Islam. The total population of the world is estimated just over 6 billion. And 1.5 billion. We are not alone. 1 in 4 roughly, just under 1 in 4 are Muslims in this world. If you look at countries like Indonesia, 135 million people practice Islam. In Turkey, 66 million practice Islam. In India, 121 million people. And when you look at Pakistan, 135 million Muslims. The world has Islam being practiced. 1 in 4 person practices Islam worldwide. It is the fastest growing religion in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records. It is at present the fastest religion. And on the other hand, we have these challenges, the tarnishing of the image of Islam. And we want to address this during this month of Muharram. We find people ready to paint Islam with the words like terrorists. Just because a small group of extremists who never understand Islam, who always looked at the tunnel vision of Islam, who always interpreted Islam according to their own thinking, are embarked on violence and terrorism. Why is Islam being tarnished as terrorist? If we look at the Islamophobia, only recently, few months back, in United Nations, a special seminar was held. And Kofi Annan gave a speech. And inshallah, later on in the majalises, I'll try and cover what he said, particularly about Islam. And what the seminar concentrated on. How we can remove that fear of Islam. Phobia, if you've got arachnophobia, you're afraid of spiders. Phobia, Islamophobia. People are afraid of Islam. The word Islam means peace. Islam is the religion of peace. And people are afraid of Islam. This is the view that we get on the other side of the coin. And indeed, the fear of Islam has led into oppression of Muslims' human rights in the world today. If you look at France, for example, we found Chirac, the president of France, how he banned hijab from the state schools. And today, our Muslim women who go to state schools in France cannot wear hijab. They are thrown out of the school. Now, recently he made a speech to talk about halal food. Why is it necessary to be provided in state schools? Shouldn't we be talking about secularism? Shouldn't we be talking about joining together and not having separate identity? Recently, an Ofsted report in England, of an inspector, Ofsted report is a report by a specialist inspectorate that goes into various schools. And they were looking at faith schools. And they were saying these faith schools are a danger to the secular state. And they're discussing that debate now. So at all fronts, we find that Islam is being challenged. What is our response? What should we do? Are we to have what we call an ostrich effect, bury our heads in the sand and say nothing is going to happen to us? Are we to become like the pigeon who closes his eyes and says the cat is not going to attack us? On the other hand, are we to lose our identity? Shall we become the Mo's instead of the Muhammads, and Jeffs instead of the Jaffars? Are we to start assimilating in the social environment in such a way that no more we can be called Muslims? And the other side of it is you could have a complete phobia, be on red alert, everybody's on attack with us. Does Islam want us to do that? Or does Islam want us to be more positive? Wa alaikum assalam. Does Islam want us to be more positive? Come forward with a message. Try and be proactive to see that we change the image of Islam in the world. Indeed, that very message of our Mawla Hussein that I said, that he was coming out for Islah of Ummah, that message needs to be reflected today. Because on the day of Ashura, Mawla said, Hal min nasirin yansuruna. Is there anyone to help me? That help question comes out now. What did Imam go to do? To save the very Islam we're talking about. Isn't Islam under threat now? Intellectually, or in a way that it is being tarnished? And isn't it our duty to become positive and try and spread that message of Islam? We have to ask this question, that when we want to be positive and portray the Islam, do we understand what Islam is? Do we understand that does Islam talk about pluralism? Is there concept of pluralism in Islam? What is Islam? And what are the qualities of a religion? What is the qualities, desirable qualities of Islam? And then we need to go in research, what does it stand for? Ayatollah Behishti once, now Ayatollah Behishti is one of the marjas who stayed in European environment, in Germany for some time. And he was asked, how can we go about preaching Islam or making Islam understood to our host community? And Ayatollah Behishti first said, first you distinguish between Islam and Muslims. Try and give this message that what Muslims living in the West are not necessarily the full portrayal of Islam, or not all Muslims portray Islam. And Islam in its ideal form, what the religion is. And secondly, we start practicing. We practice Islam. Indeed, one of our Aimma was asked, what is the best way to preach Islam? And he said that the best way to preach Islam is to practice Islam, so that people see that this is a Muslim, this is a Shia, and they see the qualities of Shia and Muslim, and they follow the qualities as they see. How beautifully Islam has been portrayed by our Aimmas and our Holy Prophet. Indeed, Mawlaya Muttaqiyan, Asadullah al-Ghalib, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi alayh. One day, on his travel from Makkah, he was going on a travel and he met up with a Jew on the street, on the road, and they traveled together. This Jew observed our Mawla's conduct. He didn't know who Mawla Ali was. He just knew him as a person walking with him. And he observed his conduct, how he behaved with him, how he helped him at every stage of the journey, how polite he was. And the more he saw, the more he got impressed. And as they came towards the junction where Mawla Ali was to now go to Kufa, and this Jew was to go forward, he was to go to his town, to his city. He finds that Mawla Ali is walking along with him, still further. And this Jew then turns to Mawla and says, "Oh person, oh brother, why are you coming this way? Your route has already started that way. It's on the right there. You are coming with me still further." And Mawla Ali turned to the Jew and said, "Oh, my brother, my Prophet, the Holy Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, has taught that there are rights of your fellow traveler and fellow human being. And amongst the right of this traveler is that I accompany you to a certain stage through to your route before starting my route if I've been together with you. It is part of my duty to come and bid you farewell on your route and not cut off my journey from my route." When the Jew heard about this, he said, "Having seen your conduct, having seen how you have behaved, and now this aspect of your rights to journey," he says, "Please tell me how I can become Muslim." And he recited, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." Salawat. I'm conscious that we have time, and indeed, inshallah, you'll find that I will observe a time limit that is within the concentration span of a normal human being. It is said that 45 minutes is the most one could concentrate. I would rather work on quality, and rather than extend my majalises to go over a longer period. So I have been told that we are going to be reciting Masaib in Urdu as well as in English. So we will give appropriate time. But reflecting back on what I have said today, Islam, the religion of peace. Islam, the religion of tranquility. Islam that has got guidance, prescription for every aspect of our life. Inshallah, over the next 10 days, I want to address specific questions. What are those qualities of Islam that make it the fastest growing religion in the world? How can we answer the question of the label of terrorism? And what does Islam say? This Arab who was with me, the Arab gentleman, he says, "You Muslims talk about an eye for an eye. We Christian, he was a Christian Arab, say, we talk about giving a cheek when we have been slapped." How are we going to answer all these questions? We need to address the rights of women. What does Islam say? He asked me that question about divorce. Man can just say talaq 3 times and the women is divorced. Where are the rights? And we need to answer those questions. We need to equip ourselves with the knowledge before we go and start being positive about Islam. And indeed, there are events like tsunami. We had this massive media, and we saw how tsunami was portrayed by media. We have to ask those questions. Where was Allah? What is our response when I was reading the Times and only in the way into the plan, and there are letters to editors in which he says, there are people saying, we have started questioning whether God exists when these events have occurred. How does Islam reply to this? We have to speak contemporary language. I could stay here in the mimbar and recite history, what's happened. We need to talk what is happening in this world now and start answering those questions and discuss this. There are questions that we have to ask. Questions like, if you had people like Pasteur, or we have people, scientists, Thomas Edison, if he did something for humanity, and today humanity is benefiting from light, how does Allah look at that? What is his situation if he did it for humanity in sincere faith? We need to address all those, and inshallah over the 12 days, this is the topic. Islam, the religion of peace and tranquility, and can we answer the challenges that are posed to Islam? But we need to understand what is Islam first. Indeed, it is when people did not realize the true value of Islam, when they started deviating from Islam, that the tragedy of Karbala happened. When Muawiyah died, Yazid sent a letter. He sent the letter to Walid. Walid was his governor in Medina. And he told Walid that I want you to take bay'ah, oath of allegiance, from Hussein ibn Ali. He knew that if Hussein ibn Ali, who is revered, though people knew that he did not have control, he did not have power, he did not have throne, Yazid had all the throne with the army. He knew that if Hussein ibn Ali would do oath of allegiance, all the allegations against Yazid about his illegitimate rule, about his conduct, would be endorsed. And Imam knew that by giving bay'ah, he would be endorsing the conduct. But not only that, he would be giving bay'ah to somebody who was not in his right place. Imam was the chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he could not do bay'ah to Yazid. So Walid called Imam, and our Mawla Hussein, told his Jawanan Bani Hashim, the youths of Bani Hashim, O Abbas, O Akbar, O Qasim, let us go. Let us go. We have been called by Walid. I have been called by Walid. And 18 youths from Bani Hashim with their swords came. And they went to the palace of Walid. And Walid was seated on the throne with Marwan near him. And Walid conveyed Muawiyah's death announcement and Yazid's talab, Yazid's command for bay'ah. Whilst Imam asked for time to reply, Marwan turned to Walid and said, Walid, if you let Hussein ibn Ali leave here without bay'ah, you will not find him again. Let either take bay'ah from him today or sever his head with a sword. Imam turned to Walid and turned to Marwan and said, O Marwan, how dare you threaten Hussein ibn Ali? Just his raising of the voice, and Abbas and Ali Akbar and all the Jawanan of Bani Hashim came out into the palace, broke through the door with the raised sword. But Imam said, O my youths of Bani Hashim, we the Ahlul Bayt, we never take the first step in a battle and a war. Just from this word, let's reflect for a moment. We are being called terrorists. Look what Imam is saying. We do not take the first step in a battle or a war. We only defend. This is the religion of Islam. Karbala is littered. If we just pass through saying this is what happened, if we do not reflect for a moment what Imam was saying, he was trying to teach us that message of peace of Islam. At that stage, they put the sword back in, and Imam left. I will turn now to those youths of Bani Hashim, O Ali Akbar, O Abbas, where were you when Mawla on day of Ashura was crying out, Hal min nasirin yansurana, Aina Ali Akbar, Aina Abbas, O Abbas, where are you? I am all alone, and the swordmen have surrounded me. At that stage, these brave youths of Bani Hashim lie martyred on the plains of Karbala. They could not, alas, help our Mawla. Mawla requested Abul Fazl al-Abbas to prepare for the journey. And whilst he requested Abbas, he told Hazrat Abbas, Fatima Sughra is very ill and she cannot join and be in this long journey. She will not be able to stand the long journey. Imam began to walk slowly towards Masjid al-Nabawi with deep thought. Islam today needs me. And then he turned to the Masjid al-Nabawi, to his grandfather's grave, and said, Ya Jadda, Ya Rasulallah, today Hussein has come to bid farewell. Hussein has come to leave Medina today. O Jadda, pray for me that I may have sabr, so I may have patience as I leave Medina. When he reached the grave of his mother Janabe Fatimatul Zahra, he was overcome with grief. He kissed the grave with tears flowing from his cheek. O mother, I leave to save Islam. Imam began to walk away. From the grave, a voice came, Khuda Hafiz, my son, go, I too will be with you. As the caravan was about to depart, Fatima Sughra, who could not travel due to illness, came to bid farewell. Sughra looked at Uncle Abbas and Ali Akbar and says, Oh Uncle Abbas, oh Ali Akbar, how can you leave me and go away? Who will be there to bury me when I die? Oh Akbar, oh brother Akbar, promise me that when the wedding is arranged, you will come and fetch your sister whom you are leaving behind. Consoling her, they promised to come and fetch her as soon as they were settled somewhere. Finally, bidding farewell to the dear ones, she turned to Rubab. Oh mother, give me baby Ali Asghar. I cannot live without him. I will care for him with utmost love. Look how content he is in my lap. The caravan could not leave as Asghar would not go to anyone else but Sughra's lap. Mawla came and whispered in Asghar's ears, O Asghar, O my son Asghar, you are the grandson of Ali. You have great feat of bravery to carry in Karbala to save Islam. Asghar left Sughra's lap, but Imam Hussein and Bibi Rubab had to hold Sughra and console her. As the caravan rolled further, Mawla kept on turning back and looking at Sughra, crying, O Sughra, Khuda Hafiz. Days passed into months, and soon month of Muharram came. Sughra became more restless. One night, she woke up very frightened and said, crying out, O grandmother, I have had a terrible dream. Salma came running, says, what is it, Sughra? Sughra was shaking with fear. She ran into the arms of Salma. Oh grandmother, I saw Ali Asghar in the dream. His lips were parched with thirst, and I saw his little arms spreading out, calling out, Al-Atash, Ukhti Fatima, Al-Atash, I'm thirsty, oh sister Fatima. Ah, Azadarane Hussein, مولا حسین کو امت نے مدینے میں چین سے رہنے نہ دیا. نانا کا مدینہ چھوڑتے وقت آخری رخصت کے لیے مولا حسین اور بہن زینب ماں کی لحد پر آئے. ماں کی لحد دیکھ کر دل بھر آیا. ایک طرف قبر سے لپٹ کر شہزادی زینب رو رہی تھی، دوسری طرف مولا حسین قبر پر رو کے پکارتے تھے، اے ماں، اے ماں، حسین آخری سلام کے لیے آیا ہے. تم نے فاقے رکھ کر چکی پیس کر پالا ہے. جب بھی تم دیکھتی کہ حسین جب بھی حسین روتے تو تم گھبرا کر مجھ سے لپٹ جاتی. ماں، آج حسین قبر سے لپٹ کے رو رہا ہے. اماں، حسین تم سے جدا ہو رہا ہے. الفراق، الوداع کی آوازیں سارا مدینہ گونج رہا تھا. مولا حسین سب سے ودا ہو رہے تھے. گھر میں شہزادی فاطمہ صغرا بستر بیمار پہ پڑی تھی. علیل و ناتوان تھی کہ بار بار غشی کی حالت آتی تھی. مولا حسین بیمار بیٹی کے قریب آئے. ایک مرتبہ بیمار بیٹی کو سینے سے لگایا. صغرا، خدا حافظ. اے صغرا، ہم جاتے ہیں. اگر پردیس میں کہیں امان ملا تو تمہیں بلا لیں گے. بیمار صغرا سے سب رخصت ہو رہے تھے. ایک مرتبہ بیمار نے ماں کا دامن تھام لیا اور کہا، بھیا علی اکبر کہاں ہے؟ انہیں میرے پاس بلاؤ. شہزادہ علی اکبر قریب آئے. بہن کو بڑی الفت سے سینے سے لگایا اور کہا، بہن فاطمہ صغرا، خدا حافظ. بھیا صغرا کو چھوڑ کر کہاں جا رہے ہو؟ صغرا علی اکبر اور اصغر کے بغیر کیسے جئیں گی؟ بھیا پردیس میں جا کے بہن کو نہ بھول جانا. مولا حسین کا کارواں تیار ہوا کہ عباس کے حکم سے ساری مدینہ کی جو بنی ہاشم کی گلیوں کے نزدیک گلیوں تھی وہ خالی کی گئی. شہزادیوں کو عماریاں لائی گئی. شہزادی زینب و کلثوم کو مولا نے سوار کیا. کربلا میں عاشور کے بعد بے کجاوا سواریاں لائی گئی. زینب نے بیویوں کو سوار کیا. جب اپنی سواری کا وقت آیا تو فرات کے طرف فرات کے طرف نگاہ کی، حسرت بری اور کہا، عباس، بھیا حسین، آج زینب کو کون سوار کرے؟ آج زینب اکیلی رہ گئی. انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون. سیعلم الذین ظلموا ای منقلبون. یا اللہ یا اللہ یا اللہ، بحق محمد وانت المحمود، وبحق علی وانت العالی، وبحق فاطمہ وانت فاطر السماوات والارض، وبحق الحسن وانت المحسن، وبحق حسین وتسعة المعصومین من ذریة الحسین. O Allah, O Allah, O Allah, accept our Khalil Azadari today in this center. O Allah, those who are ill, please accept, grant them shifa in the name of Janab Fatima al-Sughra. Ya Allah, our ulamas and our mu'mineen brothers worldwide are in problem. Our ulamas in Iraq are on constant threat from the extremists. Ya Allah, keep them in your hifz. Ya Allah, grant our marhumeens maghfirah and O Ya Allah, accept our du'as and accept our sadaqah. Surah Al-Mubarak Al-Fatiha.